Hi, I'm Julie and welcome to my kitchen where I talk sports and create culinary delights while I'm giving you some kitchen hacks and tips along the way. Today we're going to be making a second chance chicken dish. It's that time of week in our house. Garbage day is on Monday, which means Sunday you get the garbage together and you clean out the refrigerator. That means Sunday night dinner is using up the leftovers, and sometimes when they've been sitting in there for a couple days, you're not really sure you want to enjoy them the way you did when they first were cooked. I'm going to show you some chicken tricks here to use up that leftover chicken. Maybe mom or dad made it early in the week, it was a baked chicken and you have leftover chicken breasts. Maybe you got one of those rotisserie chickens from the store, you picked off all the good stuff at the beginning and now you're left with that shell of a rotisserie chicken and you still have some meat on the bones there. Here's some things you can do with that chicken, and we're going to turn it into an amazing appetizer dish that's going to be great for pre-games, tailgates, all that kind of stuff. You're going to want to bookmark this video so that when it's Super Bowl Sunday and you're looking for those great dishes to bring to the get-together, you're going to want to look this one up. So what we're doing is a look at things that are good the second time around. And we had Anthony Rizzo come back to Wrigley yesterday. He was there in the bleachers, fumbling a home run ball. He says that's why he's retired. I think he just did that on purpose so the guy behind him could catch the ball. Right, Riz? And then this weekend, we've got Jose Abreu coming back to the south side. Abreu, a longtime White Sox first baseman. Rizzo, your longtime Cubs first baseman. They were both three-time All-Stars. Rizzo, a World Series champion. And Abreu, a guy who was an AL MVP. You got these guys back in town this week, that nostalgic feeling. And so second time around with some of our baseball favorites. And then today in Detroit, they have a guy who was an offensive coordinator up there the last few years. And now he's with your Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson returning to Detroit today as the Bears head coach. And he is going to be looking for a little bit of bounce back after what happened last week with the Bears opener, where they had some great moments and some not so great moments. And they certainly have a tough task today. All right, so what we're gonna be doing, here is my leftover chicken. This came off a rotisserie chicken. Here's a trick. You can also buy it at the grocery store pre-shredded. So if you're looking to make this, if this sounds really good to you and you're saying, Jules, I don't have a chicken to use up, you can go to the grocery store and get it pre-shredded, which is also helpful if they don't have anyone's fresh out of the oven. If you have a chicken breast from dinner earlier in the week, you're gonna have pieces that you're gonna want to shred. Great way to do that is take a fork and just run the fork like this over the chicken breast, and that'll give you nice shreds. As we get more into some barbecue dishes, as the year rolls on, then I'm gonna give you a couple more tips on things like shredding pork and all that good stuff. What we have here, we have our chicken, which amounts to about 2 cups. It's about 1.5 pounds if you're gonna make your own chicken. If you're gonna buy the chicken breasts and poach them, boil them, whatever you wanna do, it's about 1.5 pounds. It comes out to about 2 cups shredded. I have a cup of ranch dressing, and then I'm gonna add to that some spices. So what I have here is 2 tablespoons of just a chili seasoning packet. 1 packet will have enough for you. And the nice thing about this recipe is you can kick up the heat as much as you want. I am extremely lame when it comes to spicy foods. My taste buds are much more on the mild side. So I have a mild chili seasoning mix. I have mild green, diced green chilies. And again, you can, if you wanna kick it up, I actually saw at the grocery store, they now have seasoning mixes that have ghost peppers and habanero peppers. So your seasoning mix can be however spicy you want it to be. So what I've mixed in here, I've got 4 ounces of my diced green chilies. I had my 2 tablespoons of chili seasoning mix. I'm gonna add just a little smidge of pepper and a little bit more smidges of salt because chefs love salt. And then we're gonna incorporate all that right there. I'm gonna add the cheese. We love cheese. This is 2 cups of just a Mexican blend. Sometimes you'll see it called Mexican blend, sometimes taco blend. It's just 2 cups, which is usually just 1 packet. 1 package of cheese. That's what we've got going on here. And then I am going to add our 2 cups of chicken to the bowl. This little spatula is probably not going to incorporate all that real well, so we're going to swap him out for a bigger spoon. So as we contemplate on our returning heroes, I thought one of the best things about Anthony Rizzo being back at Wrigley yesterday was that he bought beer for everyone in the bleachers. So many good moments in his return. I enjoyed his singing the 7th inning stretch with Cindy Crawford and Eddie Vedder, potty mouth Eddie Vedder. And I loved that he took his little baby out to first base to just stand where Daddy stood for all those seasons. All right, here's what we're looking at while we're all incorporated here. So these are store-bought wonton wrappers. You can find them usually in the produce section. They're very thin. I'm putting them in a non-stick mini muffin pan. If you use one that isn't non-stick, sorry for the double negative there. If you use one that isn't non-stick, you want to give it a quick spritz of just a pan coating spray. If you're using these and they've been sitting out, so you'll see my hands are getting flour on them. They do not stick together, which is nice. If they've been sitting out a little while and you're worried they're a little dry or you just don't want them to crack, you can put a little water on them as you push them down there. And you don't have to be fancy. Just make sure you get it to sink into the cup. The ends are going to come up a little bit. And so you're going to have something that looks like this guy right here. Pay no attention to the 2 over here that I broke. Shh. That's why we keep the water there. So now you've got your cups ready. What you're going to do, you're going to put them in the oven. They're going to bake for about 5 minutes so they become brown. And then you get something that looks like this. So here you'll see this is one I made that is the non-stick. And I sprayed them, they come out beautifully. After they've been in there for 5 minutes, you'll see these little golden brown tips, and that means they're ready for you to put your fillings in. So we'll swap this out. You don't want to get too fancy with your filling. I'm going to use my fingers. If you want, you can use something like a cookie scoop, but as you can see, you've got a pretty tight opening to squeeze your filling in there, so let's just do it with our fingers right now. You're just going to push it in, mound it up. It can be kind of over the top here a little bit because it'll all melt and get all gooey and delicious. So then we look at Jose Abreu, who's coming back this weekend, a quiet leader in the clubhouse, a guy who was a silver slugger, who did it with his bat, but was most known for just being that clubhouse leader with a lot of the younger guys, especially being a Cuban player. He could help with the guys who maybe English wasn't their first language. He spoke English much better than he let on. He would do these post-game interviews and have a translator there. It's because they want that comfort level in case they aren't sure on a word. They don't want to look like they're struggling with English. But he spoke English. Don't let those guys fool you. All right, so what I got going on here, I've got a couple of these filled already. My oven has already been preheated to 350. Nice and toasty warm for these. 350 is like a good go-to if you don't know what to preheat your oven to. It's perfect for baking. It works for a lot of other stuff. It's just nice and middle of the road. So I've got these filled up. And this will make, I would say, at least between 16 and 24, roughly. But you can see I've filled 6 right here, and I've got this much left in the bowl. And you don't have to space them out. I did that spacing like that so that you can see them better, but they have plenty of room. They're not going to be crowded if you go every single cavity. So we've got those ready to go in our oven, and they're going to bake for about 10 to 12 minutes. So those are going to go in, and the ones that I have in here percolating are going to come on out. And these are exactly what you're going for with your finished product. So you see the ends are brown and crispy. Your middles are nice and gooey. All your cheese is melted. It's got a little browning on the top. And these are going to pop out super easy. So you could literally just flip these out on your countertop, put them right on whatever plate you're serving them on. Or if you're like me and they're just so delicious and you're hungry, you're just going to sit and eat them right out of the pan where they're nice and toasty warm. These are perfectly ready for me to enjoy as a pregame snack before Ben Johnson heads back to Detroit. I'm going to be watching the Bears and the Lions today as Ben hopefully gets a little bit of a warm reception, and then the fans are booing him at the end because he beat the Lions. that's what we're going for. Thank you guys so much for all your positive response to my first video last week. You can find that on any of my social media platforms where we made bear claws. I was hoping to make roast duck today, but the Oregon Ducks steamrolled my Northwestern Wildcats, so that didn't happen. But I am wearing a throwback jersey from my days at Northwestern. I was sports director at WNUR Sports. This jersey is older than probably half of you watching this video, but it's a classic. And when I said second time around, my husband said this is like the 100th time around for this jersey. It's a classic. Anyway, second time around, chicken cups. We're gonna continue to give you tips like that that are able to use up things that can be repurposed. I'm really big on waste not, want not. And this is a great way where you had some chicken that might have been going to the garbage tonight, instead is now part of your pregame feast before you start watching Sunday NFL football. So that's all for me. I am Julie Swieca-Gannon. You can find me on Twitter at Julie Swieca, all one word, capital J, capital S. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at SportsGal324, all small letters. And then Julie Swieca-Gannon on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So be sure to check it out on all those various platforms. If you like it, share the video, tell a friend. We will see you back here sometime real soon where we're talking more sports and we're baking more delicious treats.